Hi everyone, my name is Alan, and I am an incoming transfer kid here at UC Santa Cruz, and today, I am taking social justice at work and I have a really big question for you. Is your health and your well-being actually important for your professional development? Let me ask it another way. Are your resume, your cover letter, and your time management skills the absolute most important things in the world? Usually, when grown-ups talk about professional development, they focus almost entirely on those external things. Those things are proof that you are a quote-unquote professional. But what if I told you that while those things matter, a totally perfect resume cannot fix a totally exhausted brain? Today, we are going to explore how playing actually builds your brain's capacity to be flexible when a plan suddenly changes. We are going to see how memorizing the right corporate buzzwords doesn't magically help you use them when you are super stressed and overworked. To do this, I am going to open up my backpack. We are going to look at what gets buried at the very bottom. We are going to find the resources we all need to maintain our resilience by taking booster breaks, visiting the playground, and understanding that play is just as vital to our survival as it is for any other mammal. And then, we are going to repack our backpacks together, in a much healthier way. Are you ready? Let's get this playdate started. So, what exactly is inside my backpack? When I was in preschool, I fell in love with coloring books. In kindergarten, I got my very first box of 64 crayons, and my whole world exploded with creativity and imagination. As elementary school went on, I fine-tuned my skills, and colored pencils became my ultimate tool of choice. But what happens if I bury those coloring books at the bottom of my bag? The colored pencils become completely useless. The exact same thing happens to you. You end up burying your playtime and your creativity as you learn about responsibility and the importance of having backup plans. Eventually, as you venture out into college and the workforce, you pack your backpack with resumes, cover letters, and business cards. And while it might be easy to reach in and grab your water bottle, your resilience and your creativity become really hard to find, both inside your backpack and inside yourself. Worse, your playtime gets buried in the deep, dark depths of your busy life. So, while you spend all your time perfecting your outside appearance, your name tag, your portfolio, your fancy clothes, how well are you maintaining your authentic self, underneath all those scripted emails? Don't get me wrong. Those are real skills. I am not saying you should throw your resume away. I am just saying those are your outside pocket skills. They get noticed first because people can easily see them on the outside of your backpack. But a perfect pocket protector cannot protect an exhausted kid. You can memorize exactly how to look like a professional, and still have no clue what to do when your group partner suddenly disappears, or your boss changes the instructions at the last second, or your brain is just too overloaded to listen carefully. Professional skills are not just facts you memorize. They are actions your brain has to actually perform under heavy pressure. That means your professional development has to focus on the biological equipment running the show, you. As you continue your career, you are going to build amazing skills. But some kids, and by kids, I mean students and adults too, treat carrying the heaviest backpack as proof that they are serious. They think it proves they are willing to answer every late-night message, accept every single assignment, never rest, never play, and never ever make a mistake. But having a successful career is not the same thing as carrying the heaviest backpack. You should only carry what helps you think, care, create, and maintain your freedom to choose. We need to put down the heavy weights of constant availability, unrealistic expectations, and the weird shame you feel about taking a nap. We need to change the script in our heads from, I must never make a mistake to, I am fully prepared to handle it when mistakes happen. Sometimes, putting a heavy weight down isn't quitting. Sometimes, it is the exact decision that lets you keep walking. Any questions?
How do we organize what is actually important?
Great question. Inside our brains, there are a lot of complex processes happening all at once, and it is really easy for them to get overwhelmed. And that's not just true for a neurodivergent kid like me, it happens to everyone. Scientists use huge, grown-up vocabulary to describe this, but the tools themselves are not a mystery. Let me explain. Planning builds something called executive function. We need it to help us organize, start a task, stop a task, and figure out what priority comes first. Writing things down on sticky notes builds working memory. It helps us hold on to information for a little while so we can actually use it during a conversation. Setting goals, but being okay when the GPS says recalculating route, builds cognitive flexibility. It helps us change direction when our original plan completely falls apart. And finally, understanding when to call a timeout and take a deep breath builds inhibitory control. It helps us stop a crazy impulse before all our emotions spill out everywhere. These are not bonus brain skills. These are the hidden tools operating underneath your time management, your adaptability, and your conflict resolution. Let's look at how I use them. My planner helps me organize my homework days before the due date, instead of discovering 5 assignments right at my 9 o'clock bedtime. My notes help me remember the brilliant things my cool professors tell me. My flexibility helps me figure out a new route when a project changes. And my self-regulation reminds me to pause and breathe before sending an angry text message that just creates a bigger problem. So, professional development is not about looking ready. It is about having the brain capacity to respond responsibly when things go wrong. Another question? Yes, in the back.
How do we build these brain skills?
Wow. First, you have to accept that working hard should never, ever replace your personal safety, your health, or your agency. Actually, the research shows that professionalism works best when it is partnered with recess. Your brain tools need fuel to function. Water helps your brain stay online. Good food prevents energy crashes. Sleep makes learning stick. And movement supports blood flow and neural connections. There is one really vital research term I want to teach you. I even put a link in the video description if you want to learn more. It is called BDNF, which stands for Brain-Derived Neurotrophic Factor. You don't need to memorize that big name. All you need to know is that BDNF is a special protein involved in learning, growth, and brain plasticity. It is like miracle fertilizer that helps your brain build new connectors. And the best part? Research on exercise and play shows that physical activity, like walking up the stairs or sliding down the slide with me, increases BDNF and supports memory and attention. Just don't go too fast on the slide, or you'll fly off the end and hurt your butt. In one study by Dr. Kirk Erickson, older kids, aka adults, who engage in regular aerobic exercise actually showed an increase in the physical size of their hippocampus. I know, big word, but the hippocampus is the region of the brain responsible for memory. Now, for the record, I am not saying that taking one walk through the Redwood playground at UC Santa Cruz or going on another playdate with me will magically make you a genius. I am saying that your professional skills depend on biological equipment, and that equipment requires daily maintenance. Which brings us to the fun part. A purposeful break is not laziness. It is maintenance. One study I read showed that office work is more than 80% sedentary. That's a fancy word meaning people sit on their bottoms almost all day, but still expect their brains to stay razor sharp the entire time. That is biologically impossible. Research proves that taking a booster break, or for me getting out of my booster seat when I get to school, or a short physical activity break for 5 to 15 minutes, interrupts those long periods of sitting and saves your brain. So, are you willing to play a quick game with me?
Yes, please.
Cool. I want you to put both of your feet flat on the floor. Let your shoulders completely relax. Take one slow, calm breath in and out. Now, choose one small reset your body might need right now. Maybe it's a glass of water, or a quick stretch. Go ahead and pause this video if you need to go get water. See? That wasn't a vacation. That was gathering biological information. By focusing on yourself for just 10 seconds, your brain was able to notice a need early, which prevents a massive energy crash later. Is everyone back? Cool. Look at the table on the slide behind me. This shows the science of what our mini playdate just did. Just by moving and breathing, we helped deliver oxygen to the brain, and we lowered our cortisol levels. Cortisol is a stress hormone, and lowering it helps us regulate our emotions so we don't freak out. Movement is only one type of maintenance. You also have to maintain your boundaries. Did you know that even worker bees sleep? You can be an amazing worker bee, but you still need boundaries. Bedtime is not just for little boys, like me. Sleep and autonomy protect your brain. Knowing your boundaries means knowing when to take your heavy backpack off, put it on the ground, and disconnect from work to read or take a walk. And just like I have to raise my hand in my university classes to ask a question, you need to know that it is absolutely okay to ask for help. Asking for help means you are using your support system. It is not evidence that you failed. You have to maintain your agency to stay productive in a way that is authentic to who you are. This might mean protecting your lunch hour, turning off your email notifications on the weekend, or bravely telling your boss or teacher that a project workload is no longer mentally safe or realistic. And then, you work together to make a better plan. You take control of your well-being. You gain the strength to actually lead an organization. In psychology, there is something called the balcony perspective, but I like to call it the playground slide perspective. See, when you are on the swings, you just feel the rush of the wind. You are right in the middle of the action. But sometimes, to see the whole playground, you have to get off the swings and climb all the way to the top of the slide. When we are in the middle of a stressful problem at work, it feels like swinging faster and faster. We just react to every single email and every single emergency. Remembering to take a pause is the bravest move you can make. Getting off the swings, climbing the slide, and looking around before you choose what to do next is how you survive. But you can't get that view if you stay sitting on the swing, or at your computer desk, all day long. Taking a pause is not a distraction from your professional development plan. The pause is the plan. Earlier, I asked if your resume was your most important asset. According to research by the National Institute for Play and Dr. Stuart Brown, play is an integral part of mammalian behavior. It is literally tied to our survival. He found that humans maintain the need to play much longer than other animals, thanks to a biological feature called neoteny. Dr. Brown discovered this back in the 1960s, while studying the history of a very tragic event, the Texas Tower shooter. He found that a severe, lifelong deprivation of normal, free play can permanently damage a person's ability to handle stress and build empathy. So let me rephrase my question like a true kindergartner. When did recess stop being a vital part of our learning, and more importantly, our survival? Play gives our brain a safe practice zone. It lets us experiment, recover, and imagine better solutions. In Zen Buddhism, there is a philosophy called Shoshin, which means beginner's mind. A beginner's mind, or a kid's mind, like mine, is open to so many possibilities. But an expert's mind? It only sees a few choices. For me, a sandbox is a great place to make small mistakes before the stakes get too high. For you, a simulation, a roleplay, a puzzle, or a creative challenge can do the exact same thing in college or at your job. Dr. Brown's research shows that animals use play to prepare for emergencies. Did you know that baby goats will intentionally land awkwardly while playing? They do it to practice recovering physically, so their brains learn to stay calm when something goes sideways in real life. It might sound silly, but tell me the truth, has your work or your school project ever gone sideways? Play gives your brain practice dealing with uncertainty before that uncertainty turns into a real emergency. As our playdate comes to an end today, I want you to remember that play helps work, it doesn't replace it. You can use play as engagement, turning a boring task into a puzzle to spark new ideas. And you can use play as diversion, taking a playful social break to build trust and teamwork with your classmates or coworkers. Now, the research says that great ideas are born in fields of play, but that doesn't mean your office needs to be filled with plastic toys. It just means every workplace needs people, like me, and hopefully like you, who know how to think, recover, collaborate, and try a new route without being terrified of making a mistake. Thank you so much for coming on this playdate with me. I really enjoyed your company. As a closing favor, I double dog dare you to do 4 things this week. Pack 1 toy you really need. Protect 1 healthy habit. Put down 1 unnecessary weight. And bring back 1 form of play. The most important thing I want you to take away today is that we have to check on the person, the kid, the student, the adult, who is actually carrying the backpack. Your well-being deeply matters in your professional development. Success isn't measured by how much stuff we can cram inside our backpacks. It is measured by how we choose what to carry, how we prioritize, how we pause, how we adjust, and how we ask for help. I dedicate this playdate to my beloved forensic speech team from Fullerton College who taught me how to use my authentic voice, and to Dr. Stuart Brown, whose research I used during my competitive competitions. He taught me that my playtime, recess, sandbox, and playground are literally a matter of survival. Now everyone has a different form of play. To learn more about our biological necessity for playtime, please scan this QR code or visit the National Institute for Play at nifplay.org and take a play personality test today. I look forward to recess time at my new school or finding time to stop and color at my new libraries on campus. Remember, your well-being matters.